Usually, when first contact is made with a new civilization, convincing them to join us is straightforward, the Empress said with a weary sigh. But not the humans. Ambassador Krell adjusted his posture, uneasy. He was the Dominion's most decorated diplomat, having integrated 847 species into the Empire flawlessly. Until now, Your Majesty, he offered carefully. Perhaps if we expanded our technological proposal, we did present them with faster-than-light capability. Krell, the Empress interrupted, her voice reverberating with cosmic dominance. We offered them infinite energy, medical advancements that could extend life by millennia. They declined. On the display, Earth spun lazily, unaware or unconcerned, by the Dominion fleet stationed beyond its moon. For 3 full months, they had waited for humanity to submit, as every species had done before within mere days of contact. What were their exact words? The Empress asked sharply. Krell checked his report, still struggling to believe it himself. Their leader, a woman called President Rio, heard our entire offer. She asked detailed questions. Our governance, model, expansion strategies, treatment of member species. Then she replied, and I quote, "We appreciate the offer, but we'll handle it ourselves." And when you explained the privilege of joining the galaxy's most powerful empire, she asked if we had a constitution. I told her imperial decree is absolute law. She responded that was a deal-breaker and told us to try again in a few thousand years. The Empress rose, towering and regal, casting deep shadows across the chamber floor. Show me the footage again. The hologram reformed, projecting scenes from Earth's cities. There were no signs of alarm, no evacuations, no wartime measures. People were casually walking, working, celebrating. Some even appeared to be throwing festivals in honor of First Contact Day, as though meeting a galactic empire was some kind of novelty. They aren't even frightened, the Empress said softly. That's not the oddest thing, Krell said, looking increasingly bewildered. 3 days post-contact, they sent us a diplomatic kit. Not a surrender, a gift. The Empress turned slowly. A gift? A fruit basket, to be exact, with a card that read, "Welcome to the neighborhood," and an invitation to something called a barbecue next weekend. The Empress blinked. Barbecue? Yes, Your Majesty. They also included several bottles of a drink called beer and a playlist labeled Chill Vibes for Aliens. General Vextar, the Dominion's top military strategist, stepped forward. Your Majesty, perhaps they need persuasion. A single orbital strike on an empty region might demonstrate our seriousness. We tried that, Krell said quietly. They thanked us for the impressive fireworks display and asked if we could do it again next week because the kids enjoyed it. The command chamber fell silent except for the hum of the ship's systems. The Empress had conquered thousands of worlds, absorbed hundreds of civilizations, and expanded the Dominion across 3 galactic arms. She had never encountered anything like humanity. What about their military response? General Vextar asked. They mobilized their armed forces, Krell reported, to distribute more fruit baskets and set up welcome centers at major cities. They've also started broadcasting what they call beginner's guides to human culture in our language. The Empress accessed her personal files, reviewing the psychological profiles of every species the Dominion had encountered. Fear, greed, desperation, ambition. These were the tools of conquest. But humans seemed immune to all of them. Your Majesty, the communications officer interrupted. We're receiving another transmission from Earth. Put it through. President Rio appeared. On the screen, her middle-aged face warm with genuine friendliness. Hello again, Empress Zarathul. I hope you're settling in well out there. I wanted to follow up on our conversation about joining your empire. You've reconsidered? The Empress asked hopefully. Oh, absolutely not. But we did want to make a counteroffer. Rio smiled. How would you like to join the United Nations? The bridge. Crew exchanged bewildered glances. A primitive planet was attempting to recruit a galactic empire. We know you're probably used to the whole kneel before us approach, Rio continued. But we've found that democracy and cooperation work pretty well. We've got coffee, pizza, and the internet. Plus, we're working on some really interesting space exploration projects you might find fascinating. You want us to become part of Earth's government? The Empress asked slowly. Well, technically, the UNI's more of a cooperative organization, but sure, we'd love to have you. Fair warning, though, there's a lot of paperwork, and you'd need to agree to a charter on sentient rights and democratic principles. General Vextar stepped forward. This is absurd. We have the firepower to reduce their planet to ash. Rio somehow heard him. Oh, hi there. You must be the military guy. Yeah, we figured you could probably blow us up. Most of our alien contact scenarios assume that was a possibility. She shrugged. But you haven't, which suggests you're either really nice or you need something from us. Either way, want to talk about it over dinner? The Empress felt something she hadn't experienced in centuries. Complete bewilderment. You're not afraid of us. Should we be? You've been sitting out there for 3 months being perfectly polite. You brought us fruit baskets. Well, we brought you fruit. Baskets. But you know what I mean. You seem like decent people. We've conquered thousands of worlds. And how's that working out for you? Rio asked with genuine curiosity. Are people happy? Are you happy? Because from what we've seen, most galactic empires in our science fiction don't end well for anybody. The Empress looked around her command chamber at the military officers who spoke only to obey, the diplomats who negotiated only surrender terms, the crew who served only through fear or conditioning. When was the last time anyone had asked if she was happy? You need to think about this, she said finally. Of course, take all the time you need. We'll be here doing human things. Oh, and we're sending up another care package tomorrow. Chocolate this time. Our scientists think your species might enjoy it. The transmission ended, leaving the command chamber in stunned silence. Your Majesty, Krell ventured. What are your orders? The Empress stared at Earth. This impossible little world that had somehow managed to do what no military force had ever accomplished. Make her question everything she thought she knew about power. Send a message to the other fleet commanders, she said slowly. Tell them we're extending our diplomatic mission, and if they ask why, she thought about the warmth in Rio's voice, the genuine invitation to join something rather than dominate it. The strange concept of a species that responded to overwhelming force with friendship. Tell them we're conducting a cultural exchange, she decided, and prepare a shuttle. I want to try this barbecue. As her officers scrambled to carry out orders they didn't understand, the Empress made a decision that would change the galaxy forever. For the first time in her reign, she was going to accept an invitation as an equal, not a conqueror. The question was, what would happen when a galactic empire discovered that some things were worth more than power? 6 months after the barbecue that changed galactic history, Empress Zarathul stood in the newly constructed Human Dominion Cooperation Center, watching her transformation unfold on every screen around her. The reports were impossible to ignore. Rebellion. Rates down 89% across the empire. Productivity up 34%. Mental health scores at historic highs. Most shocking of all, worlds were voluntarily requesting to join the Dominion for the first time in millennia. Mom, came a familiar voice. Former General Vexar, now Director of Interspecies Wellness, approached with Adablet. The Kalrathi delegation is ready for their cultural exchange program. How are they adapting? The Empress asked. Well, their military commander cried when he tried. Chocolate ice cream? And their ambassador has started a garden. Vexar smiled, an expression that had been impossible 6 months ago. They're requesting permission to implement Fun Fridays across their sector. The Empress nodded, still amazed at how easily her iron-fisted empire had transformed into something resembling a galactic community center. Who would have thought that happiness was more effective than fear? Your Majesty, President Rio interrupted, entering, with her usual warm smile. We need to talk. The Empress's newfound contentment evaporated. Rio only used formal titles when delivering bad news. The hegemony is coming, Rio said without preamble. Our deep space sensors picked up their fleet 2 hours ago. They'll be here in 3 days. The Empress's golden eyes went cold. The hegemony, the one force in the galaxy that made the old Dominion look gentle by comparison. A collective of species that had taken the concept of assimilation to its logical extreme, converting entire civilizations into biological components of their war machine. How many ships? She asked. 1,200. We have 800 in the system. Ma'am? Vexor interjected with respect. Numbers. Won't matter. The hegemony doesn't negotiate. They don't take prisoners. They convert her. They sterilize. The Empress felt the weight of decisions settling on her shoulders. 6 months ago, she would have prepared for war without hesitation. Now, she found herself thinking about Dave's backyard, about children playing tag, about the simple pleasure of sharing food with friends. There's something else, Rio continued. They're not just coming for Earth. They're coming for you specifically. They view your transformation as an infection that needs to be purged. An infection, the Empress repeated bitterly. Happiness is an infection. To them, yes, the hegemony functions on pure collective purpose. Individual thoughts, personal relationships, recreation, these are all seen as weaknesses to be eliminated. Dr. Kim entered the room, her face grave. I've been analyzing their communications. They're not just coming to conquer. They're coming to make an example. They want to show the galaxy what happens when you choose cooperation over domination. The Empress walked to the massive window overlooking Earth. Below, she could see humans and aliens working together in the gardens, sharing meals, teaching their children to play together. The sight that had once seemed impossible now felt fragile, precious. What do you commend? She asked. We fight, Rio said simply. But not the way you used to fight, meaning we show them what we've learned. We don't try to defeat them. Wettree to heal them. They're a war machine, Rio. You can't heal a war machine. Maybe not. But we can show them there's another way. The next 3 days passed in abler of preparation, unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Instead of building weapons, the combined human Dominion fleet began broadcasting on every frequency. Not threats or demands, but stories, personal accounts from former Dominion subjects about their lives before and after the transformation. Testimonials from military commanders about the joy of building instead of destroying. Ambassador Krell, now Earth's first alien cultural ambassador, worked with human psychologists to develop what they called empathy bombs, communication packages, designed to trigger individual thought in collective minds. The theory is simple, Dr. Kim explained as they loaded the devices onto shuttles. The Gemini maintains unity by suppressing individual identity, but identity is like water. It finds a way through event the smallest cracks. When the hegemony fleet arrived, they found something they'd never encountered, a welcoming committee. The massive alien fleet, all sharp angles and weapon arrays, came to a halt as they were greeted not by battle formations, but by a peaceful arrangement of ships broadcasting a single message. Welcome. We'd like to